What am I doing? I need to get back out there and commentate. With a source made for me, and with memes! But here I am with a script I just couldn't finish. Not often I find a viable source like that, and yet I can't enjoy covering it. If only there was something that really caught my attention. Wait, is that? You know, this might just work if I solo this material. Still, I don't know if I should try this again.
But you're a big guy.
That's my cue to Bane post! I'm in! Wait, I have something to disclose. Just to give some background, my history with Lily Pete is limited to me seeing Ends Over Easy and now this video. Let that sink in if you think I'm too salty, because I referenced not being able to get through that last solo script for a reason. Now we clear for takeoff.
Bane.
But alas, not everyone is decent, are they? Or smart. Art, like any other skill, has always been and will always be subject to the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias in which low-ability individuals suffer from illusory superiority, mistakenly assessing their ability as much higher than it really is.
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen someone try to shoehorn psychology into a video quite as hard as you, and I've seen some things in my time. Okay, spoilers, but Pete uses this passive-aggressive tactic to make her detractors think they don't know shit. Don't think I didn't catch on to your mind games. Why else would you use this phenomenon here? I mean, you can be extremely competent working with the medium of art, but be garbage at managing your intellectual property. Aha! Come on, Pete, you ain't slick.
Someday, if I pull that off, will you die?
This is not helped by the fact that the simple ability to scribble something into a shape that vaguely resembles a human is enough to make people who can't draw at all because they never bothered to learn remark about how amazingly talented you are. Hell, you could wipe your ass with a page of Mega Man sprites and there'll still be someone on DeviantArt who'll tell you that it's brilliant.
Wait a second. I know I've heard that before.
You can wipe your ass with a page of Mega Man sprites and there'll still be someone on Comic Genesis who'll tell you that it's brilliant.
I'm not sure if I'd call you an art thief, but you look like a joke thief to me.
You can spot a low-skill diva pretty quickly if you have any social skills whatsoever. They're obsessed about having 100% control over an image file they knowingly submitted to the internet without any sort of identifying marks. You'll probably find them on Tumblr, sneering at likes and whining about not getting reblogged and writing sanctimonious pages about how it discourages artists when they don't get attention. And they probably charge exorbitant amounts for commissions and then turn around and lecture you because you're a normal person with financial responsibility and $100 for a piece of fan art is fucking unreasonable. I don't even spend that much on food in a month. If you've been on either of these sites, you've most certainly run into something like this. They are to DeviantArt and Tumblr what narcissistic asset flippers are to Steam. They believe they're entitled to your attention, that you're obligated to provide them with an audience, and also that they get to yell at you when you change your mind about buying their art after seeing the price and deciding it's too much.
What? It's like you're trying to give me this counter-argument. The counter-argument being, what if they started drawing by the time buyer's remorse set in? Yeah, try getting some customer service when you can't rewind away the time and effort an artist put into something before you figured you didn't want to pay up. Considering the vast majority of commission artists I've seen online are super transparent about their prices, that leaves two options for the hypothetical buyer here to take the L. Those options are realize you shouldn't have commissioned an artist that wasn't straight up with you, and or read the goddamn page before setting up an order.
And someday,
it would be extremely painful.
When Bombing Run released, it opened with a shot of me using a piece of Christie's artwork to throw shade at relentless nitpickers from the episode before it. A few days after the video's launch, I received a message from a patron saying that Christie was unhappy that I'd used her artwork and wanted to be credited in the description. I reiterated my own rules, saying that I don't credit quick-fire visual aids, and the response was a request to not use the artwork anymore. I said that I would think about it, and that was the end of that.
Oh, look at that. I don't know how you didn't think this would have started something, but it's no surprise that you did. First off, you said this was a patron of yours, right? And second, that's incredibly dickish to go, oh, think about it, as a response here. Yeah, I'll think about whether or not I want to use another drawing by someone after refusing to throw them a bone. Way to talk to a donator in your audience, right? And for that matter, if you have such a problem about people getting overly protective of their work, why didn't you say, I probably won't in the future? That's free exposure this alleged diva artist isn't gonna get from here on out. Right?
The next day, I found a comment awaiting approval from Anime Christie, making the same demand I'd already said no to. It was only then that I remembered her. A few months previously, I was angrily ranting about the election results, like any normal person would, and she responded to it with, Lily dear, are you on your period?
You're acting like the artist said that purely out of pre-existing salt. Lily, I've seen you talking politics, and to put it kindly, it's like a great ape wielding a machine gun. Unless that's me. You made a whole thesis paper of a video trying to excuse your means to an end mentality by saying you have values behind it. Like an average human being doesn't have things they value? It sounds like that's a rough paraphrase, but I can't summarize that video better than that. I witnessed mental gymnastics that I normally get from competitive players who never think it's their fault. Honestly, it's entirely possible that someone just found that you got really mad and they thought that was funny. Ever considered that your behavior about the art was more of a catalyst for that comment?
When I remembered this, I decided to have some fun. I proceeded to repeat my rules to her and told her no, and then I used my ever-popular knob post on my blog where I take a comical exaggeration of something that happened and make snarky quips in response to throw shade at the idea of demanding a credit for a few seconds of footage.
It would have worked if it wasn't wrong. You talk about the signature being there, but look at how tiny and abstract the damn Wait a minute, was your strong, sad-looking ass about to obscure the signature? Actually, let's say you weren't about to accidentally cover up those initials. I tried seeing what happens when you put those 5 letters into Google, and lo and behold, this happens. Who'da thunk it? And yeah, you can trace this back to the original artist by using other means like, say, reverse image searching on the screenshot, or looking through shit tons of pony fan art, but I didn't need the signature to do either one. So basically, that point is beyond moot, and you were this close to unintentionally making that statement objectively incorrect. I can't imagine why someone would take issue with you here. Oh, and no one reading the description? Is that why you put a snide remark towards your detractors in this video's description? No, better yet, is that why you put the shoutout to your patrons there? Come on, tell me what the message you're sending is when you put their shoutout somewhere that no one reads. I don't think Anime Christie is the only one you're disrespecting.
And then, all I had to do was sit back and wait. As expected, the post was aggressively screenshotted and passed around the Rift. We've talked about them before.
Correction, you talked about the Rift. Viewers like me didn't hear about it and are wondering what the deal is about them. It's not like you could have supplied context more effectively or anything.
Christie proceeded to go on more rants about respecting art, not helped by me needling her every chance I got and getting progressively angrier. When it became clear I wasn't going to give her what she wanted, she ran to FNGR to rant to him for his How to Beg for Attention series, and then her friends decided to flood my Twitter notifications with #RespectTheArtist, in some sort of attempt to annoy me into capitulating. Of course, Twitter lets you mute hashtags and there are extensions in place to make blocking someone take far less time than typing out hashtags, so smooth move, dicks for eyes.
Hold up, let me paraphrase what's up. So what you're telling me is you got really mad. I mean, you're not the bigger person here if it got under your skin to the point where dicks for eyes was your best response for them.
I then told Christie that if a few seconds was that important to her, then she should file a DMCA and have the video taken down. Which she did. What I neglected to mention was that a DMCA ain't gonna do shit if you don't have full intention of suing me. Of course, I submitted a counter notification, which would require her to elevate her claim to actual legal action, and she relinquished the claim and made a final attempt to save face, because when you fail at being right, the best recourse is to make idiots think you're the bigger person.
Hey, abandoning an unproductive conflict isn't the worst way to try to resolve this scenario. The artist could have done a lengthy video full of crude apologetics to excuse a scenario that could have been avoided with some common sense. Sorry, was it something I said?
It was clear from the get-go that Christie wasn't going to get credited. I told her first messenger that the second request about not using her art was something I would think about, and had she left it at that, everything would have went smoothly. I mean, it's not like I have a separate show for exactly this kind of thing or anything.
Okay, I wasn't gonna say this at first with the video about the Rift, but good lord, are you just trying to plug videos right now instead of adding to the discussion? And no, that's a shit excuse. You could just never shout out the artist because you're busy making a different video.
It's ordeal, the trial.
With no survivors.
I do not cave to threats. I do not cave to grabbing all your mates and dogpiling me. Josh tried that crap twice, and that's someone with a massive and rabid fanbase who will go so far as to dox me and threaten to kill me and my family.
Lily? What kind of a fool do you take me for? Considering your dogpiling shtick, and one of those videos you pointed at has Josh saying, "Don't spam hate at this mofo," I don't think I like what the answer is gonna be. Assuming you did experience doxing or threats from some asshole, there's literally a contradiction sitting right in front of me saying Josh realistically had nothing to do with it. So quit trying to pull guilt by association, cause you know what? This may be a shock since you moderate your own comments.
I found a comment awaiting approval from Anime Christie.
But you can't 100% control what your fans do. The most that can be done is asking them to do you a solid, but I guess you don't appreciate someone trying to play nice.
For the day
the fire rises.
So audiences enable that behavior, and it's an enabling that needs to stop. People need to start putting their foot down when hack amateur artists try to play the martyr act.
As if you aren't trying to parade this escapade around like that?
Their artistic discipline is no more arduous and time-consuming than any other artistic medium. They don't suffer more than musicians, filmmakers, YouTube dancers, or writers, or what have you, no matter how much they want to believe they do. I can't give Christy what she wants, even if I wanted to, because that only encourages this kind of behavior.
You can try to go, yeah, I showed you by remaining unmoved, but frankly, you didn't discourage this behavior too well. You've been showing how much their behavior perturbed you, and you escalated the situation without any good foresight.
Christy proceeded to go on more rants about respecting art, not helped by me needling her every chance I got.
Given the nature of this video, it's easy to recognize that the patron of yours and the artist were at least more diplomatic, relatively speaking. So much for showing your audience what a diva artist is, when you act like a terrorist is trying to negotiate with you.
So to all those people who think spamming respect the artist at me is going to suddenly make me drink the same acid you've been drinking, I have a hashtag of my own for you to endlessly repeat instead of making an actual point. Earn that respect.
Yeah, this point has something of a chilling effect in my book. I'll try not to throw shade about something that happened a while back, but this reminds me of a video I saw in the past. If memory serves me right, the commentator responded to a statement about how women should be respected more than getting catcalled all creepy-like by going, "Respect's gotta be earned." That might be a bad sign if someone doesn't consider giving baseline levels of respect as a common courtesy.
I generally only put my foot down at people being rude to me if they're trying to demand something from me or misgendering me and then getting mad when I won't listen to a single thing they say until they correct that mistake. Like this jackass, who went as far as to cite Black Pigeon Speaks, a neo-Nazi YouTuber whose rhetoric is indistinguishable from Anders Breivik and Elliot Rodger. I mean, you can say a lot about Anime Christie and her attitude, and believe me, I certainly have, but at least she had enough common sense to know that she couldn't misgender me and cite fascist YouTubers in the process and expect to be taken seriously by anyone who matters.
Oh, second time's the charm for producing guilt by association, huh? Unless Anime Christie went off like, "Ah, yeah!" towards this, your victim act is completely pointless. Hell, you admitted she knew better than to act like Mr. Edgy over here, so what's your point? I'm actually kind of offended on behalf of your audience. You thought you could string people along with contradictory information right in their face, twice, and no one would notice.
You're a big boss.
For you.
People who can't build their own audiences, and as such have to keep trying to rewrite the rules so other people have to shoulder the burden of making them look appealing.
What the where did making their success for them come into play? Because they requested someone to credit them for a drawing? That's a bit of a stretch considering shoutouts ain't everything for someone's creative career. Yeah, it helps get an artist's name out there, but the ball has to keep rolling at that point, or it will all be for nothing.
If I pull that off, will you
crank that?
The reason good artists don't care is because they know eyes on their work will always come back to them whether the person who shared it credited them or not. That's why they don't pick these insignificant battles.
About that, maybe the problem is that you're partially working against the author getting recognized for what they did? Let's be real. When you actually attach the name of a user that did some fan art, that reminds people, oh yeah, there are everyday people like me that do this kind of stuff. As a commentator, it is so damn easy to forget this with avatar images that aren't official. Plus, it's easy to forget that official images with an avatar are tougher to find than obscure pieces of fan art. There's definitely a case against going home early here and saying fuck it, that'll do.
I suppose I could have tried to be the bigger person in all this, but the reality is that shitty people want you to be the bigger person. It means there's no consequences for their actions.
I'm sorry, in what world does a lackluster person want you to best them Machiavellian style and take the proverbial throne? Of course they'd have consequences if you're the bigger person. They'd lack the social authority to talk shit and appear justified for it. The only reason that you'd think like this, from what I can tell, is because you know Anime Christie successfully was the better person and took the moral high ground. You want to bump someone down a peg for that, huh? This isn't mental gymnastics anymore, this is a psychological clown fiesta.
Or perhaps he's once required someone would shoot a man.
When Josh had his 30-minute tirade about how mean I was for pointing out when he was talking complete and total bullshit, a lot of people saw through the nonsense and inundated me with a massive amount of appreciation posts about how much I'd enriched their lives, got them to think more critically about their own beliefs, and even helped them shake off their own biases. It was a total
You're a big guy, are you?
I can handle this crap. I can handle it very well. I've seen Christie's type before, and I am committed to putting it on blast because sunlight is a powerful disinfectant. But there are far smaller people out there who can't, and they are prey for this kind of melodramatic performance and can actually be hurt by it. People who can be made victims by petty, bitter little shitheads like this.
Considering I'm a dude that used to critique DA shit before regretting it, I'm gonna say this is most likely a non-issue in terms of tarnishing reputations. But hey, gotta stick up for the little folks.
Don't do it. Do not make a joke about Pete being a liberal. It's too damn easy.
Never mind, let's wrap this up. So low-key, I am gonna say Anime Christie done fucked up with the DMCA shit. One of the big problems with abusing copyright protection is that you can mutilate your reputation online and lose moral superiority fast. And hey, case in point here. So it really miffs me when you practically tried to gift wrap that artist a victory with this video. This whole deal is that one Jaltoid cartoon where the dude gets edgy and defensive when responding to trolls. Oh, I ain't even mad, he says. But there's also a twist, since it's also like a bad college assignment. The terminology here is complex, every inconsequential detail gets tied into the video to lengthen it, but the rationale and ideas are still pretty broken at a fundamental level. I mean, what did you expect when you escalated the conflict and baited the artist into DMCAing your ass? What did you expect? For someone like me to think your praise for internet artists isn't one big backhanded compliment? Yeah, bet you thought I was gonna skip this in the beginning.
And we all know how self-important and snooty artists can be about their work being used in any possible way. Not much, actually. Most artists are lovely people who generally don't give two shits if it's run for a few seconds in rapid-fire sequence set to some random narration.
There's plenty of that kind of talk scattered throughout the video, but considering your behavior, it comes off as going conditional love on their artsy asses. I don't know what's worse, your etiquette and how you regard the art of the internet, which communities like yours or mine thrive off of, or how you regard community feedback and your fans. Because guess what? I don't just do common courtesy to the little-known people that make soundtracks, video sources, and fan art when I credit them in my commentaries. It's also for the audience. I don't want my watchers to be SOL tracking down music or videos I used, because fair use doesn't make that any less of a pain. I kick myself in the ass over how long it took for me to think, hey wait a minute, if I'm giving free promotion to fan art of my avatars, why am I forgetting to let people know where it came from? But I think that now I've made things pretty convenient and practical for both my fans and the folks that make good creative content. I don't mean to brag, but I feel like I show up some commentators with how I make sure credit is given here. Well, ever since I made my big comeback with Kong Who Shattered Time. I mean, let's say that I covered someone who I didn't think gave enough of a damn about nice fan art. I could make the commentary consist of Avatar fan art images with plenty of credit given on screen, and show up my source by walking the walk instead of talking the talk. Imagine if I did that.
I'm the kind of any kind of support. Get it up, losing, and it's all your fault. Your tears are what I would thought.
Where's Ben Stein when you need him for your mouth when it gets dry? Fucking hell.